Hi, I'm Ian, back to bring you another helping of ultra-violence from the gaming world with a review of the definitely not for kids Dead to Rights Retribution, a reimagining of the third-person action franchise which started in 2002. The game's two main lead characters are gravelly voiced Indestructo cop Jack Slate, who's not the shoot first, ask questions later kind of cop, oh no. He's the batter someone round the face, kneecap them, then break their arms and legs, and then leave them in a pool of their own blood without even bothering to ask a question at all kind of cop. His sidekick is bloodthirsty but loyal pooch Shadow, who, to be honest, outside of the game world would probably have been put down a long time ago for being mental and eating people's faces off. Together they are fighting to get their city back from the clutches of crime and corruption, while at the same time hunting down the killer of Jack's equally gravelly voiced father. Which is probably what the Retribution bit in the title refers to.
No gunfire.
For the majority of the game, you will be controlling Jack Slate, and this will give you all the running, gunning, and fisticuff action you could ever need.
Right about now.
However, thrown into the mix to stop things becoming too repetitive are the occasional stealthy infiltration sections, which let you take direct control of Shadow the Wonder Mutt. You know they say a dog is a man's best friend? Well, he's not when he's biting your testicles off. Shadow's stealth sections are pretty good fun, and using his animal senses you can smell where your enemies are and sneak up on them before pouncing and mauling them to bits. As a nice touch to these sections, Shadow can then drag the dead bodies into the darkness so they can never be found. A bit like a hairy Sam Fisher then, but with a tail and paws and a big tongue and hair. Jack's sections of the game involve you learning simple hand-to-hand combos and chaining them together with the use of firearms so you can create a John Woo-style ballet of death. Disarming a guy in hand-to-hand combat, then shooting him in the face with his own weapon is a great touch, and once you get the hang of these combos, the fights flow easily and the game doesn't present too much of a challenge. In fact, your biggest enemy at times is the camera, which during frantic fights will often block off your view of enemies approaching from the rear and leave you open to attack. The icing on the cake for the hand-to-hand combat is the stylish and super gory slow-motion execution moves, which can be triggered after wearing down your enemy with a constant chain of combos. Not for the weak of stomach, they look great at first, showcasing imaginative ways to cause grievous bodily harm, especially once you start combining them with your weapons. But really, how many times can you kill a man by booting him in the ball bag before it gets boring? It's 32 times. I know. Because I was counting. You can even build up a focus mode by taking down enemies in stylish ways, and when activated it makes everything go slow-mo and decreases the amount of damage you take. The game even throws in a nice slow-mo effect when you shoot someone in the head. Dead to Rights loves slow-mo, and to be honest, so do I. Slow-mo and Dead to Rights work well together, so fair play to it. It's worth noting though that even with all these crazy combos and ultra-violent finishes, I had the most fun just grabbing enemies and throwing them from the top of tall buildings. LOLs guaranteed. Freeze! Dead to Rights is chock full of cheesy dialogue which wouldn't be out of place in an 80s action movie, and to be honest, with some of the lines Jack comes out with, I really can't tell if the game is trying to be serious or tongue-in-cheek.
What did you call me?
Called you an asshole. Hey, Jack.
And surely I'm not the only one who can see the irony when Jack talks about being a good cop one minute, then breaks a guy's leg and kicks him to death the next.
Here. You point it in that direction, and you pull this to make it go bang. Feel free to point it at a bad guy, if you ever end up facing one.
The graphics, while not great, are nice and chunky and totally suit the cartoon violence feel of the game. Colour lovers may be disappointed though, as everything in the game world is pretty dull, with a colour palette consisting of mainly greys and browns. This occasionally looks really nice and does suit the mood of the game, but at other times it just makes the levels look drab and boring, and with the level layouts being uninspired, basic and super linear, this doesn't help much in creating a memorable game world. Overall, there is a slightly unpolished feel to the game. It's very prone to glitches, Just check out this one I caught on my mobile phone. Whee! Look at him go! Round and round and round, forever and ever. Oh look, the dog wants to go. Good doggy. To be honest, like GameTank Matt's cooking, I won't be going back for seconds, and unless you really love slow-mo genital crushing, you probably won't either. But to be fair, the one time you do play it through will be good, clean, well actually not clean, more like filthy fun. If gratuitous violence and bags of swearing are your cup of tea, you can do worse than grab a copy of Dead to Rights Retribution, turn off your brain and get cracking with the knacker smacking.
Keep it real, keep it GameTank.